Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Wheel of Time watch-along. This is the fourth episode. You know the deal. Previous episodes, if you want to check them out, we're going to be pointing out differences from the book, giving thoughts on how the show is improving, or maybe not, and just do an overall super fan deep dive into episode 4 of season 3 of Rhuidean Prime. Let's kick it off.
What are you thinking of? That last part.
Nothing.
Takes a great deal of practice to think of nothing.
Yeah, that's what my father showed me when I was learning to use the bow. It's a picture of flame in my mind and feed everything into it. Fear, hate, anger. Until my mind was empty, only the flame and the void.
He was a blade master, your father.
There's a lot I don't know about him.
100% accurate to books there. It's just, it would have been introduced a lot earlier than here. Lan and Rand talk about the void extensively, I believe, in book 2, and it's definitely at least mentioned in book 1. But yes, the void is a concept Robert Jordan introduced that's kind of actually based in reality. If you talk to like super athletes or people who have to do, you know, incredibly physically exertive things, that kind of just clear mind, focus, don't think about anything. I don't know if they do exactly the practice that Robert Jordan did, which is like feeding all your thoughts into a literal fire in your mind and burning them away, but it's a fantasticized version of kind of that meditative state you'll hear like boxers or, you know, people like that, sword fighters, achieving before getting in the ring. Just to clarify though, Lan doesn't know Tam, Rand's father, is a blade master because of that. He knows that because Rand is holding a blade master's sword that he got from Tam, so it's just a thing he's able to put together.
When a lamb's mother dies during childbirth, we caught the new mother. And we put the blood on a lamb so she accepts it as her own and look like them. I know their blood flows in my veins. But I'm not one of them. I never will be.
Well, you'll never be a blade master.
You keep taking breaks.
Being lazy. Hold the sword how I showed you, sheepherder. Think of your flame and void. And this time I'll actually try.
So Lan is also familiar with the void. That's a little more stressed in the books. There, it kind of was just casual with them. And I actually like that they're bringing in this struggle that Rand does have, where there's this pressure on him in the story to like be of the Aiel, but he does not exactly want to be like I am them because of obviously he didn't grow up among them. He can learn about them, but he can't have the experience of actually genuinely being raised by them. So they're folding that in nicely.
Here is water and shade, freely given. All here are welcome as first sisters are welcome.
Is it only the wise ones who have servants?
They're Gaishan, not servants.
In the dance of spears, the most G is given by touching an armed enemy without killing or harming in any way. Those who are touched become Gaishan.
You're very comfortable answering questions we have no interest in the answers to.
What interests you, Aes Sedai?
Yep, that's another aspect of the Aiel culture that I think is taken from Native American culture. And you have to serve a year in a day as this kind of like unarmed servant among the other clans if that is done to you. You can also end up as one if you just have a lot of toe, which is like you just basically you owe someone big. You can end up being one of their Gaishan as well. So there's multiple ways to enter it, and it is kind of a big deal for a few characters later on.
It was no more than an even chance that the young man who calls himself Rand al'Thor would come.
If he did not, it was certain he would die. And the Aiel too. Yet he has come, and if he survives Rhuidean, some of the Aiel at least will survive. This we know.
If you had not come, you would have died. If our Arnaline had not come, you would have died. If you do not go through Rhuidean...
Right to jail, right away.
You should not have been told. It is possible for women to see some ways the future may be woven in Rhuidean. No more than that.
That dialogue, I think, is pretty much taken verbatim from the books. And yeah, Moraine is going to go through Rhuidean. I wasn't sure if they were going to keep that in, but looks like they're actually, no. That was in one of the trailers. So yeah, we did know that. And Rhuidean for the Aiel is kind of like their ultimate gauntlet to rise higher in society, whether to Wise One or Clan Chief. And so for Rand to be the Kara Karn, he has to go through Rhuidean and kind of go on his own special adventure. And I'm really excited that this is going to happen this episode, because it is... This book that they're taking from is often considered like when the Wheel of Time truly becomes like its full-scale epic scope. And that's not only because you get the true introduction to the Aiel, which is such a rich culture that Robert Jordan fleshed out so well, but also the book lends so much to actually figuring out how much of a vast epic the history of the Wheel of Time is. We are witnessing like a thin sliver of a timeline that has existed for thousands of years, and we're about to see, hopefully, well realized, a few key, crucial, like, nexus points. Hopefully.
I told you not to touch a sword.
Aiel don't touch swords. So am I Aiel or not? You can't seem to decide.
No one touches a sword this close to the city in the clouds. That includes you.
Okay. One, yes, Aviendha as a Maiden of the Spear should be able to put Rand down pretty easily at this point in the series. Yes, he's been training with a sword, but Aviendha is a lifelong warrior. I don't know if Lan and Aviendha say a word to each other throughout the books. If they do, it's minor stuff. And she certainly never threatens him with a spear. Okay, they don't fight. Are we setting up for a duel between these two? Yeah, we are. All right. Lan should just put her down. He's the greatest warrior.
You're asking me to dance. Annaline.
No, you are. You pulled a spear on a guy. Yo. Okay. I'm gonna be I have to be a book fan, and I'm really sorry about that. I get that they have to give Lan a bit more character than he has in the books, and so seeing him like smile there and laugh, fine, because in the books he is just described as stone-faced. Like that is Lan throughout the series, and as an actor, I think that might get a bit meh, so I think they're just changing that. Lan, at the beginning of the series, is one of the best, if not the best, living swordsman in the world, and by the end, he's even better. And we've seen in this show, I believe last season, he took on multiple Myrddraal at once, and now Aviendha is keeping up with him. Aviendha should not be that good. And that's not me trying to be like man, woman, or anything, unless they are vastly cranking up Aviendha's physical abilities. This is like Lan is like master level high end, and yes, Aiel are badass, but it's just weird. Let's see how it plays out. I don't think anyone disarms Lan once. I like that he took her spear from her. That's nice. So the more I've had time to sit and marinate with this scene, I actually like what they were trying to do. I just don't like how they went about doing it. Let me explain. Right after this fight, we see the Wise Ones approach Aviendha and tell her it's time for her to go to Rhuidean. So clearly this fight was to stress how much she enjoys fighting. Her and Lan are kind of laughing back and forth with each other. They don't seem to be taking it too seriously. And I want to make it clear, I don't really care that much that like Lan is dueling with an Aiel and they're going mano a mano. I think it's kind of silly to get super caught up in that stuff. I also just want to point out that like, it is weirdly disrespectful. There is so much reverence towards Lan for people who know who he is throughout the series, because he is the person who's kind of lost the most to the shadow. Not just family, friends. He lost his people, title, and future, land. It's all gone. And we have this person just threatening him and being like, let's go. And I just don't think it was the right choice. I actually think it would have been a much better choice to have it be with Rand. We already see they almost kind of get into it. And Lan, I think, would have been more in character to watch Rand make this mistake of thinking he might be able to take on an Aiel now and get humbled for it. And it also really falls in line with Aviendha and Rand's relationship as it develops throughout the series, because Aviendha humbles Rand all of the goddamn time.
It's her favorite thing to do.
It's a huge part of their kind of quippy dynamic that develops, and it's really important for Rand. He needs to be humbled. He does get told he's the prophesied dragon. He's trained by Lan, the greatest swordsman, and so he gets a bit uppity at times, and I think it was a really good moment to also see that same joy from Aviendha sparring with Rand and have like the first moment of camaraderie between them when maybe Rand doesn't do horribly, he still gets his ass kicked, but there's kind of a smile back and forth. And then it could lend right into seeing Aviendha enjoying fighting and have the same effect without it being like a world leader challenged by a foot soldier. It's just odd.
Stop this foolishness. You have run.
Yes, this is going to be a big moment for Aviendha's character. And kind of mild comment, Aviendha is getting more screen time percentage-wise than she does in the books.
Stop this foolishness. You have run with the spears as long as you can. Longer than you should have.
I am a maiden of the spear. I do not want to be a wise one.
You cannot run from what you must be.
The cut and sore, Aviendha. Your new clothes will await your return.
This is actually going to lead to, like, it's kind of strange because this is actually straight from the books in a way where, yeah, Aviendha, when they arrive, is told it's time for you to become a wise one. Except, this is kind of reminding me to talk about this. Our party arrives in the Aiel Waste essentially at Rhuidean. There is not this like days of moving with the Aiel and getting to know them. The reason the show is doing this is to make up for exposition we got from the Aiel in the book that they're largely skipping. And so it makes sense. Like, I get why they're adding this. You need to have that information, and it's just a nice way to like be able to, okay, we're not going to do the portal flick there that they have not set up because it's a whole way of navigation in the Wheel of Time world that they have just dropped for the show, which sucks because we're not going to get the flicker scene, which that's a discussion for another time. But essentially Rand gets to see like 1,000 versions of his lives. But with what we're about to see here, that could feel redundant for the show with how condensed things are.
What the hell are you talking about?
Anyway, what I'm trying to actually say is this is like the first time I'm seeing the show kind of expand on something and make it longer, but in the grand scheme, it's condensing a lot from the previous book. Now, yes, Aviendha, as I said, is being turned into a wise one. My only critique of this execution, because I just think it's nice, I like the acting, everything, the breaking of those spears, those were some soft-ass spears. Maybe get some stronger wood, guys. That was a very breakable hilt or shaft.
I ask your leave to enter Rhuidean.
The question is asked. I answer yes.
I'll be back before you reach the slopes of Giant Ire.
Oh, so she's just going to go out ahead of the party. Okay, again, like she actually goes a little bit after Rand and Matt, because Matt's actually here in the books and goes with him, and they like see her in the distance.
The wise ones tell me many men wait weeks on the slopes before they enter.
I'm not them.
This arrogance will get you.
I know I have to go there. What do you want?
I want you to tell me what you're going to do, so I can help you.
You've never tried to help me, Moraine.
That's all I've ever done. Do you feel like you know all there is to know?
You want me to confide in you? Tell me whatever I decide to do. You won't try to stop me. Say that you would use me for the Tower's ends, or your own. Say plain. So I know it's true.
I will do nothing to hinder you from fulfilling your destiny. I've devoted my life to that, but I will not promise to watch while you lay your head on a chopping block.
Spot on out of the books. They're actually nailing the Moraine-Rand relationship this season, and I love it. They have such a complex dynamic where, yeah, Moraine has literally devoted her life to making sure the Dragon Reborn, which she knew that was being born because the flashback we saw in the previous season, is able to fulfill their destiny. And she has now met the most stubborn person in the world and has to have this balance of like, yeah, you need to fulfill your own destiny. I can respect you on that. That's fine. At the same time, well, in the books, you're like a 19, 16, 17-year-old kid, depending on when we are in the series, and you need to listen to me because I am an Aes Sedai and I've been around the world. Yeah, it's great to see that realized.
If all clan chiefs and wise ones go to Rhuidean, is there anything different for the Kara Khan?
We are marked by Rhuidean. The very few that make it out alive. Every chief on the left arm.
Yeah, okay, so we're getting to look at the tattoo for the first time. Yeah, if you go through Rhuidean, you get a badass I don't know. They're explaining it. I'll shut the fuck up. All right.
Yeah, I got too excited.
We are marked by Rhuidean. The very few that make it out alive. Every chief on the left arm.
The people of the dragon.
That's what they called us once. The Karakarn. He who comes with the dawn will be marked twice.
A city in the clouds.
Shido.
Nitpick, it's full clans that are here in the books. As I said, they kind of just flash next to Rhuidean, and there's thousands of Aiel. And on top of that, the Shido were like 50 feet away. Y'all didn't see them in their big tent? Sorry,
There shall be no blood on the ground.
We brought wetlanders to Rhuidean.
Where's your husband, Savannah?
Dead. My new husband, his son, Rhuidean, has entered Rhuidean, and he is there still.
And should my brother fail, I will enter.
You have not asked, Claudine.
I ask your leave to enter Rhuidean.
The question has been asked. I answer yes.
This man is no Aiel. It's death for him to be on this ground.
My mother was Aiel.
Your father, yes. But your mother?
He presents himself like a woman!
Do you wish to be a wise one, Claudine? Put on a dress and come to me. I'll see if you could be trained. Until then, be silent when wise ones speak.
It must be done. I answer yes.
there it is.
You try to make this wetlander one of us? He's soft. Rhuidean will kill him.
I ask your leave to enter Rhuidean.
Moraine.
I answer yes.
So similar setup to the books, and it's a little more stilted in execution, in my opinion. I feel like it might work. I haven't read it in a while, but it might work better in the books to me because it does feel like the Aiel are kind of caught on their back foot because these wetlanders are just dropped among them, and the wise ones just approve it, and it doesn't really feel like there's much of a conversation allowed to happen before Matt, Rand, Moraine all set off with Avienda as well. They actually kind of go in waves. I think it's Rand and Matt first, then Avienda and Moraine go after. I don't know how I feel about this execution. I get why they can't have thousands of Aiel because, you know, extras, budget, CGIing, that would be insane. It just kind of lowers the stakes, I feel like, a little bit. It's all, in terms of dialogue, aligning pretty well. And I might get into what Matt does in there, depending on what we see happening in the arches as well. Oh, and I want to talk about something from the last episode. Sorry to just do a full pivot, but some people were bringing up that they really liked that Matt didn't have an audience for the Galad Gawain fight because they feel like it made it kind of more reflective of him rather than like the bombastic show that Galad and Gawain put on. I agree to some extent. I can see that angle. For me, it was just really missing the anecdote we get from a warder trainer afterward that I think was really important and underlined the importance of the scene. That was what was kind of like, I really missed that, and I really would have liked that folded in. In general, though, I'm happy with that scene. All right, let's continue on into Rhuidean.
In Rhuidean, you'll find 3 rings. Step through any one and you'll see your future laid before you again and again in variation.
Rand Al Thor. In the glass columns, you will walk the footsteps of your blood ancestors. To lead is to know where you came from. To understand the blood in your veins.
If you have weapons, you can leave them here. They'll be waiting for you when you return. If you return.
Thanks for the vote of confidence.
It's a simple joke that's been done a million times, but I kind of enjoy that. It's except what's being switched here is in the books. It's Matt when he's going into Rhuidean who just keeps pulling knives out, and apparently a few Aiel are like, nice. I guess Moraine has a ton of knives on her, which kind of, I don't know, when Lanfear was like, you didn't embrace the Saurus, and Moraine's like, I'm ready. I guess she meant she'd shake a bitch. I don't know. And the changes here are very understandable with what happened in the show, and I have a feeling, I'd put money down that if what happened with Barney Harris in season 1 had happened, we would be getting Matt here. the further we get in the show, the ramifications of losing that actor, and again, no offense to that guy, I'm sure whatever happened was, personal life takes precedent, supersedes whatever was coming on professionally. But I think that's having a really big impact on what we're seeing here, because it's Matt and Rand sauntering on in at this point, and they kind of have a Matt attitude towards it because Matt's personality overrides every situation.
Rhuidean belongs to the dead. They will not speak to the living again until they return. He is of the past.
And she is of the future. Be gone from among the living, and do not haunt us with memories of what is lost. Speak not of what the dead see.
Ready?
No.
Fair. I wonder if we're gonna get every vision. That was all just the opening? We're 20 minutes in! A couple things. I actually am curious for non-book fans. It doesn't stand out as much in the books because it's spread out, but there is a lot of like other world travel and visions and stuff going on throughout the Wheel of Time. Does it feel too much for non-book fans? We see it in the Accepted stuff with Nynaeve, then again with Egwene. Now we're about to see it with Moiraine and Rand. It's kind of foundational to how Robert Jordan is constructing this multiple worlds within Weaves, which we'll explain later in the series, I assume, with like one primary world. But I'm wondering, without like the space between it, if for people who are just watching the show, it's like, God damn, we're getting a lot of visions.
Doesn't seem like Aiel work.
No.
It's dry fog. So strange. And when I look at it, it's as if I can see threads of the one power. Then
Neat.
they're gone.
Oh, the tree, the Avendasora.
Avendasora.
The tree of life.
We always knew the Aiel had it. It's said to be almost 3,000 years old.
Feels peaceful.
We used to have one just like it where I grew up. The Aiel entrusted a sapling of Avendasora to Carrion hundreds of years ago. A repayment of some debt even older.
We didn't see a tree like this in Carrion.
Because my uncle Laemon, when he became king, cut it down to build his throne. He wanted a throne that could never be copied. And we didn't know it at the time, but that was why the Aiel came over the spine. Why they left the waste. Why the whole Aiel War began. Burning every city in the Westlands until finally they caught him on the slopes of Dragonmount and killed him there.
That's why my mother was a dragon man when she gave birth to me. And that's why I fulfilled the prophecy of the dragon reborn, because your uncle cut down that tree. We've been connected since before I was born.
Sometimes fate seems so strong. Tied, sweet.
A couple notes there. I can't recall if the king is killed on the slopes of Dragon Mount. Possibly? That makes sense, because I think the Aiel War ended really soon after that conflict. But yeah, all that accurate to the lore. Though I love the detail that, yeah, we're kind of getting the information that people in the wetlands kind of are like, yeah, we won the Aiel War, they retreated. The Aiel are like, no, we won because we killed the guy we wanted to kill. And it's kind of like the wetlands are deluding themselves into being like, we got it, right? We stopped them. No. If the Aiel wanted to just continue decimating, they would have. And the connection between Moiraine and Rand, I can't recall if it's ever stated so overtly, but yeah, that is there as subtext throughout the series, where they are kind of connected since even before the foretelling in Moraine's vision, because of this connection of like, yeah, her uncle caused the war that made him born where he was, starting the prophecy.
You shouldn't have come here.
Moaning? What? Oh, interesting interpretation. Okay. Not how I pictured the pillars, but neat. Spooky.
Rhuidean? Savannah said you were here.
Okay, the visions are starting, so I can go ahead and officially talk about the Matt thing. And I also want to say, kind of spooky, creepy. I like this interpretation of the pillars. Matt, before this, back in the Stone of Tyr, in a sa'angreal or whatever, whichever the classification is, that's kept in the Stone of Tyr, goes through a doorway that takes him to another world outside of this world where he makes a bargain. And I won't say anything more than that because I don't want to spoil anything in case they do end up tying it in later, because the vision Min had about it is tied to this, and he actually goes through another doorway that is also kept here in Rhuidean. And while Rand is going through the pillars, Matt sees this and he's like, oh, there's another one. I want to go, because he's not satisfied with the bargain he made, to like try and get a better bargain.
I'm just not so sure how well this plan was thought through.
That's not being done, though, and we're instead going to be actually seeing what happens with Moiraine's, which we don't in the books, but I'm fine with that. And she also actually went through the doorway of the Stone of Tyr as well. And we're going to get Rand's, of course, because that's like the central important ones. And one note about the Avendesora, yeah, Rand says like it feels peaceful. I think there's even like a moment where Rand and Matt like chill under it, and they're like, wow, we could stay here for a long time and it would just feel very nice. I always picture being next to the Avendesora tree is just like being in one of those rooms where you get like a really nice like couples massage, and it's all like, and they have the music going and the strangely comfortable beds. That's the vibe of being around the Avendesora. And we're in the past. Now, the king was killed on the slopes of Dragon. Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Fight!
Knock it!
Fatality. Janduin, come, quick!
I found her.
I found their king, the Oathbreaker. I took his life. And with my own spear, shade up my heart. We won.
There is no sign of the baby.
That was a total invention for the show. None of that was in the books, and I'm very conflicted about how I feel about that and implications. He does not see through his father's eyes.
My mother, my father.
Step forward. A step to the center.
It can be justified, yeah, by that. Like, each step is further back in time, so that was his first step, but the next step's gonna be a jump.
Sedai called you all here. You must agree to whatever she asks, Mendane.
Will the others come?
Some. Most. I've spoken to my sisters in a dream, and we all dream the same dream. Those chiefs who do not come, and those who do not agree, their names will be lost.
Is that Yosha Stradowski under a ton of
the
makeup?
The Aes Sedai say no weapons can be taken to Rhuidean.
Latra Posei Datsume. Why did you call us here?
Because the last people who were truly Aiel, they are all dead now. That is why you are here. The people who built this city, who planted this tree. Why do you not carry swords?
It's forbidden.
But you do not know why. Whoever would lead among you must come to Rhuidean. Chiefs and wise ones both. And learn where your ancestors came from, and why you do not carry swords. Who cannot learn will not live. Kara Khan will come from Rhuidean at dawn, and tie you with bonds you cannot break. The Kara Khan will take you back and destroy you.
What do you want from us?
See the world through their eyes, and know who you were and who you are. Know why we Aes Sedai call you Oath Breakers.
A total invention for the show. That just felt like they were re-explaining stuff that I feel like most people got. I'm not sure why they felt the need to include that. We all knew what Rand was doing, and that's probably my least favorite beat of this so far. You don't need to hold our hands that much. We got it. Maybe that's just me coming at it from like a I've read the books perspective. Let me know if you're just a show reader, if like, oh no, this additional cutaway was a good use of screen time and you did need the clarification. Because I don't feel like show-only people would, but I could absolutely be wrong there.
Tree of life. Chara.
Chora Aventusura.
They say it makes you feel peaceful just to sit beneath its branches. I can feel it.
Here! Get away from that!
What's wrong?
Your sister. A group of bandits. They took her during the last of the washing in the stream. They took Colleen too.
No.
No.
We have to get them back.
No talk of that. All will be well. No, please. Please go to your wagon. All will be well. All will be well, and all manner of things will be well.
We need to do something. We can't.
They were down at the stream. If we follow the tracks from there, we'll wait until night, sneak in and get them back. No violence.
A few moments later.
No, Lloyd! No!
Mercy of the light, be with us.
Charlie. No.
What have we done?
No. That's the weapon. Has no other use. It's forbidden by the way of the leaf. A spear. A spear can put food in the pots.
Pretty accurate to what happens in the books. We see the Aiel, yes, we're a part of the Tuathawan, and they ended up breaking their pledge to peace through this exact rescue mission, and that was the beginning of this whole cultural schism. I'm really curious to see how they're going to land this. I feel like I'm sounding more negative this episode. I'm not trying to be more negative or positive. It's just there's a lot of like setup happening, and so I'm not able to as confidently say like, oh, it's going this way or that way. And I have to be like, all right, how are they going to use this? And why are these changes or not changes being made to be implemented later on? It's like a setup episode, obviously, because it's getting into lore and things along those lines. And so as someone who's trying to come at it from both like a show and book perspective, it's kind of difficult to navigate.
The men that hurt us. Rhuidean came and killed them.
Is it true? Is it?
They tried to kill us.
They hurt her. What else could we do?
No. Are no longer Aiel. Strangers. Oath breakers.
Hide your face from me, stranger. I had a son once with a face like that. I don't want to see it on a killer. Home. Hide your face.
Straight out of book, not really pretty much any changes there in even the smaller details. So yeah, we're on course for this, and there should be, I believe, 2 more cutaways, Maybe I'm misremembering, but also with that additional one, I don't know if they're removing something, but we'll see. I will say one part of this I like is it does show in the past what Aes Sedai were capable of before so much knowledge was lost during the breaking, which we could get more context of soon. Also, I just didn't know this while filming, but yeah, it is Yosha Stradowski throughout all of these, so shout out not only to the makeup department, but him for bringing a lot of different physicality to the ones that are obvious, like the previous one, but even the ones that are not so obvious, like before that, making them feel like distinct individuals.
Oh, feel the motor.
All right, we're gonna give some Moraine some time before we finish off with Rand. Let's do it. Future. We've been in the past. Now we go forward. Oh. I will leave that for the show. Dude, the vibes of Rhuidean are on point. God damn. I'm curious if people are going to agree with me. I'm getting the Dune influence strong in this episode, which obviously among the Aiel, but like even in like the way Dune was recently adapted, it feels like the show is kind of leaning into how directly Frank Herbert inspired Wheel of Time by just being like, oh, we can use some of the same kind of language to communicate. And I feel like they're doing it in a tactful way where if you know, you know, but it's not so overt that it's like, meh. Neat. I'm liking that a lot. I think the points of Rhuidean and the finer details here of like the mysticism around it are nailing it.
What's wrong, love?
Attend you all, she comes.
Moraine,
The Watcher of the
making a
Seals,
mistake.
the
Please,
Flame
don't
of
do this to me,
Tar
Moraine. Egwene!
The Amelin
No,
Sea.
no! Don't do this to me! Moraine!
Allah Mondragon, I release you from your bond.
We're gonna get that shot from the trailer
Do you accept the bond?
I do.
with the Emmons Field 5 all evil. Ooh, weaker VFX there. Oh, I'm getting a little
The
motion
dragon
sick.
will born. I swear myself to you.
Oh, he's got the tattoos in his arm there. All right. For those of you who might be wondering, like, why is this guy literally ripping his eyes out? Rand isn't necessarily seeing the exact same thing as him, I believe. And in addition to that, Rand actually kind of low-key has an advantage going through Rhuidean, in my opinion, where he's not grown up among these people. He's not as invested in them. Imagine if you were like someone who's a descendant of Native Americans and you have to go back and live through what was done to Native American culture by, you know, European settlers. It would be something that just rocks you to your core, where like obviously it's still going to be upsetting to Rand to see like horrible things happen, but he doesn't have like as close of a cultural connection to it. So I've always felt like he low-key had an advantage in Rhuidean. I don't know. Like he's not as steeped in the people and the ways.
Grandfather!
My boy.
We can't carry on.
What do you mean? Iro ayande an. Iro ayenfal. Safi umat. The others will come. They'll meet us across the spine. My daughter dreamed that...
We're going south. The Aes Sedai have killed the last man who can channel. The earth is settling. We'll find someplace safe, someplace where we can sing the songs of harvest again.
You can come with us, Arden. Please.
I won't break my oath.
Always will our fires welcome you. Depart now at peace. Your mother, she saw great things in her dreams.
Like what?
A city in the desert. A place where you can go and be safe with no one to hurt us. My grandfather taught me to look after this tree, and someday you will too.
How will we get across the spine?
Together.
Okay, so I'm assuming they're about to inform us a lot about the breaking of the world, which they kind of have to for a lot of this to make sense, so I'm not going to spend too much time on this. But what we've just seen is the schism between the Way of the Leaf and the Aiel. The Tinkers we saw in previous seasons, and this warrior culture. Obviously, during the breaking of the world, which I'll let the show explain, there was a sect that became hardened and went off to become these tribes we see now, and there was another group that kept their oaths, and that's why you see Aiel called oath breakers. The only like complaint I have is this is supposed to be much bigger groups of people, and it kind of just seems like now 2 guys are gonna go off to be Tinkers, but you know, just they have restraints, whatever. They're gonna go off and meet up with more of their kind, and it also kind of gave us that really strong visual of that one old broken down guy keeping his oath with a child to represent a new generation, and so I think on the vision level, it's still working, and I really don't mind that much. I think, yeah, this is pulling it off well. Yes, modern shoes, mother. All right, let's go. So it's about to look even more Dune, because you got to remember, we've talked about this before, Wheel of Time is a closet sci-fi series. And so we're jumping back to the sci-fi times, sci-fantasy times.
Echor, sono.
Avende wixi kuchun koyerishi. Destuhat.
Coenton. Maratha Sahar Beniket. Iket sa angreal sa freit. Sa karnen. Nup nishai. Nialen. Sa angreal kaliendor. Sa andilia. Sa shalom. Sa ruigutuste de batel.
Huh.
Simwab soe dachen. Emanishma ganevalon.
Iket Yerusavinu dinya. Sagat asakuren.
Dani levaka. Gadar fonai. Sagat sa jayenda tumasenya. Hota at the orba.
No sana atha. Vakairo ayasita.
Aiel niende. Ebashamun. Ayes Danila. Sobgijenko son. Waratpat. Begratien.
Ira begrat ayasidai. Felchadi shar lieta safar. Ail hey shentov aratpat.
Well, that was a lie.
Now, I need to explain something that's changed from the book, because I said earlier I'll let the show explain it, but I don't know if they're going to, and I think this is the kind of thing show people might find interesting for a difference. It also is a change that, to me, makes a lot of sense. In the books, there are 3 crazy powerful magic items you need to keep track of. And 2 of them are statues that one can be used by a man and the other a woman, and they're the most powerful artifacts in terms of just rawly amplifying your power. The Colden Call. It's weird to say Robert Jordan words. The show seems to be like, look, 3, a lot of redundancies here, and they get used in ways, but could we kind of condense? And the answer to that question for the show and this path seems to be yes. They are now putting them in our characters' hands in very different ways, saying, no, to the male one, combining that with the sword that's not a sword, Kalendor, and then making the female statue Orb. And that's what we see Moraine now with. I'm not saying one way or the other if this is going to work out. I have no idea. It's just an interesting change from the book where, yeah, when you have 14, 15, if you include the prequel books, you can have all these magical items and make them very clear and distinct. But when you're operating with, you know, however many hours the show's going to be total, this is the kind of stuff where, yeah, it's just like, I could see how in a writer's room, it's like, let's just combine. But the way that the statues were kind of related, it seems now that these two are going to be connected. And I could do a whole video on Kalendor, the sword that's not a sword, because there's like flaws in it and ways that can be used with female channelers. It's crazy. I also want to point out a note, I like that they're showing the sand not being buffeted as much by the force that's hitting Rand because it's not literal wind. It's adding that like dissonance in your brain where like something's off. Also, Yosha, that's a look for him. Okay.
Amdana.
Mirin sedai.
Elati kodome?
Tak, aj sedai. Elati vlakso.
There it is.
Ilan raga.
Jalati se.
Chia kai. Kama tueta, chelano valakai.
Alakai ayas kadao.
Choshiat. Gavane? Ane asajada.
Fonai tamarasin. Mojli tortu. Jayandar loge.
Lokai gavane.
Balden. Balden ayas sedane. Sahit ayas kadao. Mojlit cortista ayas athaan. Tarmbolar greal. Asa ninte walati. Tarmbolar luasterin aisadai. Spiatilan. Tarm pilan vitsoving sor. Jalao. Yatsu ninte walati. Denuker.
Okay, a lot of details here I like and I want to talk about. So this might be confusing for non-book fans, so I want to make this clear. We are going back in Rand's direct bloodline lineage, I believe. Lews Therin is reborn as Rand al'Thor, but they are not related by blood. It's like, so that's two different things happening, and I feel like that could be confusing for some people, so I want to just reaffirm. Lews Therin was the dragon, not a bloodline ancestor to Rand. We're seeing Rand's bloodline, and this soul came into this individual, think of it that way, to be reborn. It had nothing to do with DNA. And now, the true power, I'm going to let the show go. I'm going to let the show explain it. Hopefully it's done. This going to be a thing. And yeah, Lanfear used to be Mirren, and that's why she was in love with Lews Therin, but she's not in love with this guy next to her who is a bloodline relative of Rand. Also, insert Ryan George joke about your ancestors looking like you and everyone in the world looking, you know, okay, done.
Dinosane.
Duente ninte athanalan. Kama duet say.
That is a great line for her. Also, this episode is really like emphasizing extremes is bad, which I enjoy because obviously like the Way of the Leaf, I personally don't agree with it. If someone's going to murder someone you love, defend them. Like it's an extreme. It's taken too far. It's a twisted way of life versus what like should be. And now we see Lanfear take something that's like, yeah, hold on to what you love. But she takes it to a place where it's like, oh, no. That's bad. Also, yes, Lanfear was just a scientist in a past life who was using incredibly advanced work with the One Power to research interdimensional travel, I guess would be the equivalent for our reality. And that's why the Forsaken are so dangerous. They're from a time where things like this were possible, and after the breaking of the world, which we're about to see, all that knowledge was lost. They're so dangerous because they're just from a society that knew more and were able to do more with magic. This is a post-apocalyptic sci-fantasy story because, yeah, as you see, they also have crazy advanced technology blended with their magic. Oh no. Oh, that shot! Oh my god!
Blood ancestors.
Yes, baby! Okay. Oh, yes! Alright, so, yeah, okay. Let's talk about that. Lanfear, indeed, was the one who bored in letting the true power through, but at the same time, the Dark One. The true power is the Dark One's power. At least one it can bestow upon its servants. And the Dark One is not like what, you know, a common villager would think, or like your typical like Dark Lord representation would be of like a guy. The Dark Lord is like a cosmic entity. It's not an individual trying to fight a battle. It is trying to undo this reality. Not even like a Galactus scale, because that's still an individual in this world. It is outside this reality, pressing in, seeping in, trying to break the pattern. And so what you just saw in the sky is the first crack in this turning of the wheel the Dark One is able to slip in through. And it looked perfect. Having Rand's ancestor look up at it like that. Oh, yes. I'm so happy. Okay, cool. Oh. So Rand just witnessed what the Dark One truly is, snapping into this realm. Anyway, I'm excited. I'm nerding out. Ah. And he shall be marked twice. Not in the book. They do not talk here. I will say he comes out and he has to deal with another emergency because that vision of Matt hanging happens here. And so Rand has all this happen and then is like, CPR. Anyway, let's continue on. I want to see what they're going to do here. There's still stuff with Rand that needs to happen before he goes back. So I assume Aviendha will be the insert for that. Also, I
didn't understand about the sword.
And what now you do?
And I like that because of the dynamic they've further established between these two, it's actually kind of working. That interesting. Let's see how this develops. I think this is a good payoff for what they've been setting up with Aviendha.
I understand enough to know I'll never fully understand. Did you see Moraine?
She's still inside.
Hey, where you going?
Back.
To the tents.
Aren't you?
Not without her.
As you wish, Wetlander.
God, the statues giving impressions of like someone hiding in the fog is really creepy and messing with me.
You can't fight us all, Moraine.
Oh, that's Lan's sword, I think. Well, I got my thumbnail shots. Hot damn, dude. The show is not subtle. I think that's fair. We don't get Vision's like direct perspective of what she sees, but this is kind of filling in with what's implied of what she sees. And she directly states what she says later on in the books, and so some of that was there too. I just want to take a moment to do a complete left turn and address book fans for a second, because you all have been so chill. We have not talked about this thing at all, so I can say without any context whatsoever, I've been lying about something to non-book readers, and book readers haven't mentioned it once in the comment section. And I think someone, or at least most people, like know. And it's not related to anything in this episode. It's not really, I can say it here and be like, we know. Thanks for being chill. I just wanted to say that so that non-book readers can sit here and be like, what the fuck? Because I've repeatedly said a thing that's not right, and it's like overtly not right, and no one in the comments has been like, Daniel. Everyone's been like, cool. He who comes with the dawn. Show me the sun rising. There it is. The god of God. Yeah, Rand walks out with Matt, but this works for what the story's going with, and they've pivoted really well. That episode won me over. I'm not gonna lie, I started a little with it, but it landed on its feet, man. It stuck the landing. God damn. What? I am happy. Okay, it's just, I love the lore. I love the lore so much, and it did it. It did it. I'm gonna need to watch all of these again before I do my full season review. I'm gonna make the shot of the Dark One boar like the wallpaper on my computer for sure. One final book change. When Rand comes out with Matt, they're actually attacked by that Shido Aiel you saw earlier, Cooladin, who like is just a raving madman. You'll see more of him soon. He's not actually mad, but he has no chill. Cooladin as a character, zero chill. Dude, this season is working for me. And this is without question the most ambitious episode yet. I think I prefer the writing of episode 2, but the performances, costuming, makeup work, sets, and VFX just permeating throughout this one, overall landing shockingly well, do, yes, land this episode for me at above an 8. It's the first Wheel of Time episode I would put above an 8. And this actually is a score I gave to a book I reviewed recently, and I'm just not going to erase it. It applies here as well. Hot damn. Even that silent ending and the look on Yosha's face and Rosamund Pike as they make it out from this city is maybe even I like it more than the books. That's something I hesitate to say with this adaptation, but the Cooladin attacking them thing always just kind of felt like, yeah, that's okay. And this felt way more emotionally weighty. Maximum effort, true epic fantasy on TV, and feeling distinctly Wheel of Time. Partially for the visual style I'm still not the biggest fan of in terms of like the coloring and everything, but it is working for it at this point. Happy Daniel, happy boy. Woo! Thank you all for tuning on in and sharing this experience with me. Let me know what your favorite episode this season so far has been, and least favorite, in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you have not already, and join the Patreon if you would like to see and do a watch along with Kayla and I with The Rocketeer. Yeah, that's right. We watched The Rocketeer, and it was a blast. Thank you, everyone. Have a good one. Bye!